Now, just first and foremost, how would you reflect on obviously the Champions League qualifying experience and I guess the calibre of matches that you were involved in?
It was excellent to be back in the competition for a start. That's something that we were striving for, is to get back to playing Champions League football. But I think when you reflect after the competition, there's probably a lot of disappointment on our part. I think we maybe showcased ourselves at certain times out of the two games, but there was definitely more from us that we could have showed. I think if you look back at the games, certainly the Arsenal one, when you're going into half time almost nothing each with a very good team, and then you lose that goal, and then obviously the change, what happens in the second half, we're never going to be happy losing games. When you represent a club like Rangers, you always want to win. So the way that the Arsenal game went, that was a hugely disappointing game for us. And then you could obviously see in the Atletico Madrid game that there was improvements. I thought we had large parts of possession. That's something that we had worked on through the week, because we need to be better on the ball, and I think you could see that we were better in that part. But like we say, we lost the game on 3 transitional moments, and that's something that we usually hit home in training and games back here. That's something that we always get on, like, spot on. So from that part, we're obviously a bit gutted about that, because it's something that we work on all the time. But it's a lot of learning, and I think that's something that we've been doing since we came back. We've analysed the games and we've realised where we've went wrong. So it's something that we can really learn from in those moments, in those games, and take into the league games that we've got coming up.
Yeah, do you feel it was good for especially some of the younger players to be exposed to that level of football?
That's what I was just going to say. I think you need to be exposed to that level to know where the women's game's at. I think when you go to Champions League football, it's like, wow, this is intense, especially being your first time. So I've played Champions League many years, and I already know that it is a tough competition. There's no easy game in Champions League football, whether that was you were going to get Arsenal or whoever else it may be. Like I've said, that there's no easy game, but I think it's important that our young players got exposed to that, and I'm glad that they did in a way, and hopefully they can learn a lot from it as well. And
just obviously back to league action on Sunday, 43 goals scored, 0 conceded. Could you sense in pre-season that the team were sort of had that bit between their teeth? Yeah, definitely. I think when we came into pre-season, we prided ourselves a lot on clean sheets. I think when you look back at last season, we maybe conceded really sloppy goals from our part, and I think we've really tidied that up in pre-season. We've really hit home how important it is to make sure that we keep getting those clean sheets, and we're doing it so far. But I think that's just showing that the hard work that we've put into pre-season, and the whole squad's really bought into it as well. Yeah, as a defender, how much do you pride yourself on just getting clean sheets every week? Massively, because I think if you say you go beat a team 8 or 9-0, but then you concede that one goal, it almost deflates the whole part of the performance. So when we're walking away from these games with really comfortable possession, and we're scoring goals, and we're coming away with clean sheets as well, I think it's only going to build confidence within the dressing room, and there is a real togetherness within the squad, and it's always our goal as we always want to have those clean sheets, and so far so good. Yeah, is it about maintaining and improving those standards that you have created, because you know that whether it's 1 goal scored or 1 goal conceded, it could actually make a big difference in the league season? 100%. And I can even use an example. There's a time where we've maybe won 6-0, but we're still coming back into analysis, kind of being disappointed with parts of our play. And I think that shows a lot of people from the outside would be like, great performance. But we're actually in here working hard behind the scenes, saying, well, do you know what? We could have probably done that better. We could have done that better. So I think there is a real difference from last season in terms of challenging ourselves on and off the pitch. You've obviously been involved in successful league-winning seasons out with Rangers, and obviously a couple of seasons ago with Rangers. What do you think is key in a side to going all the way in a league campaign? I've always said it, and I always will say it, is I think it's the winning mentality. I think it's the finding the way to win. I think it's when you're up against it, maybe in a match, and maybe you're not playing particularly well, but you just find that cutting edge to find a way to win. And I think we really do have that this season. I think there's a real, like I've said previously, there's a real togetherness within this dressing room. We've added more quality up top. We've got experienced defenders. It's a real mix between really talented youth and also very experienced players at national team level as well. So
I've always said it, and I genuinely do believe that it's just having that winning mentality, challenging yourselves in training every day, the work that we do behind the scenes and analysis, everything's done at 100% level, and I think if we continue going that way, we could be really successful this season.
Yeah, it's obviously very early into the season and there's still a long way to go, but do you see signs of what you were talking about there?
100%. I've said it since the start of pre-season. I just feel like there's something different this year. I feel like everyone's really bought into what Joe and our staff are saying on the training pitch, whether that be an analysis or even just on the training pitch. So I really am seeing it, and I feel like everyone really is together this season, and I feel like there's a little bit more of challenging each other on the pitch as well. When maybe something's not going quite right, we're a very open and together group, so nobody ever takes what you say to heart. It's for the best for the team, and I think that's what I'm really seeing the difference as this season, is just challenging each other a little bit more on the pitch.
Yeah, and just lastly, just on Sunday's game, is about being dominant in the game and ultimately making that dominance count at both ends of the pitch.
Yeah, we obviously want to get back to winning ways first and foremost, and I think it's a good game to come back to. We want to remain where we are, obviously in the league, and we want to keep the clean sheets coming as well. So we'll be going into that game and treating it like no other. And we know that it's probably going to be a difficult match in terms of maybe Spartans sitting in a little bit against us. We're not really used to that from the past 2 games. So it'll be nice to get back to a little bit more possession football, but we really need to be at 100% if we want to go and get a result.